Let's see. The red wire goes to the battery, and the yellow wire has to reach sensor. But where does this green wire go?
Look at that. Fresh crimp. So happy. I have the first connector wires ran. I just kind of held them down so that I could, get it to the end. But the wires are the same length. I'm going to start running more of them through here. And I have a lot more sensors to go. I did realize something. I don't have these tagged as what they are. I just have numbers. So I'm gonna try and write down what everything goes to and where these numbers correspond so that I can pin them properly. And before I do that, I can't really do anything else because I won't be able to pin it the right way, which I need to do that. So we'll be right back. All right, progress is not the fastest, but I did figure out how to get all the wires numbered. So I'm running through. I actually didn't have the correct pins for this one, so I'm going to order them. I had one that looked exactly like it, except for it's not long enough, so it won't actually clip in properly. I got this first coil pack one done. And then I have all of my new wires going through here. But as I'm finding out, well, I knew about it, but I forgot about it, you know what I mean? So there's a bunch of wires that just tap into each other. And I have this brown one here. This one is actually wrapped around that brown one because it's supposed to go to it. It goes to this coil pack. So this little brown one goes to this little spot, goes to one of the coil packs. And then there's a little black wire that actually came from this connector that goes all the way back up the harness to a little splice over here. So I have those wrapped around themselves. That way I can grab the solder iron and attach them. I'm definitely a little bit more than halfway done. So these are all new wires. These are still the old wires. There are some black wires in here, which this is like a fatter one compared to the other ones. And if you notice, it has 2 numbers written on it. It's because it's actually a sheath and there's 2 wires inside of it, and those wires go to these little connectors, which these connectors I'm not changing or altering because these ones go to the sensors that I have on the car for my gauges. So oil temp, oil pressure, coolant temp kind of gauges, right? And you can see I've got everything done here except for that one connector I'm still waiting on the new connector for. I've got all the wires for the injectors ran, other than the ground one, and I believe this is the map sensor. Yeah, this one's the map sensor. That one's the intake air temp sensor. This one is for the transmission. It's like reverse lockout or neutral, and this one's the other one for the transmission. So I have these ground wires, 1, 2, 3, 4. That one goes there. 5, 6, 7 more connectors left. These ones I'm not going to use. I'm just going to bypass them and run a straight wire. They're there for disconnecting. This is like the charge harness on the K series, which goes under the intake manifold to the starter and whatnot. They have them disconnect here, which I'm not going to because I don't need them to. This is going to be a really easy to disconnect harness considering I'm using the Deutsch connector for all of these wires against the Firewall. Once this connector's here, I'm going to take this and plug it in completely. And then I'm going to do my final taping of how I want the wires to be run, so on and so forth, where I'm going to put it on the Firewall. And then I'm going to do the connector for the Firewall, the bulkhead connector. I found out that like a three wire connector, I could do one of them in about 15 to 20 minutes. So you can kind of guess how long it took me to do everything else. But I have new alternator wire, new starter wire, new starter signal wire, and then everything else is just a brand new wire. These two are for the sensor ground and the sensor powers. So I'm going to change those out once I've got everything in there. And then these are the last two wires. I got to put these together. So now that I have every new wire ran, I'm going to do what I did the first time where I was like, okay, this is how I want the wires to sit. But I'm going to do it and kind of run the wires exactly how I want them to be so they lay smoothly. And then I'm going to put tape on it. That way I can have them all reach at the end. And once I reach at the end, then I'm going to actually start putting the 70-pin Deutsch connector together. These are all the wires that go down to, you know, crank position sensor, VBT, VTEC, and all that other stuff, right? So I have these all straight, but there's these two wires, which are sensor powers and sensor grounds, right? So they come over into a little joined thing that I'm going to solder together. And this one actually shares a sensor ground with this cam angle sensor. Or maybe it's sensor power, that might be what it is. And then this one has its own, which actually splits into two and goes into the other side of the harness. So doing it this way, I'm going to organize them all together, solder the wires where I need to solder together. I'm going to start running them smoothly, that way they all stay, you know, nice and lined up going through. I'm not going to do the whole little twisty thingy because I don't think I'm that good right now. But doing this will make it so that I don't have wires spaghettiing all the way through, because as you saw when I was pulling it apart, it was already kind of spaghetti. So doing it this way, a little longer, but I shouldn't have any spaghetti stuff going through or wires looped over each other. We have a slight snag. You know, it's taken me this long to realize, but there isn't a really big flat section of the firewall. I'm just going to make a plate that goes here for this and the big wires that go through. All right, I have a prototype made. I'm also actually considering 3D printing it because why not? I have one. It just depends on the firewall and how it fits there. I still might just go down to my buddy Dave's and make it out of metal. This is definitely a stopping point for this because now I got to make this and try to figure out how it's going to go on there. Subscribe, like, do whatever that other stuff is.
And buy some shirts.
We got some shirts, so check those out. My wife makes them. You can also check out her channel, which is Miss VTEC. She does a little YouTube thingy, and she's also filming in the garage while I'm in here.